much for coming. I'm Peter Rowan. I'm the Executive Director of the Pacific Asian Center for Entrepreneurship. And I can't believe it's already been almost 2 years. This is my second time being up here. And last time I was up here, most people were wondering where Susan was. So, you know, it's been a couple of years, so hopefully things are changing.
Not right here.
Oh no, I thought you weren't here. Last year I also had a massive oversight, and I've been feeling terrible about it all year, and I want to rectify that right away before I forget. Which is, you know, everybody knows that the brains behind PACE are actually Kylie and Tracy and Crystal particularly, who put together this event, and that without their hard work, none of these things would happen. So I wanted to recognize their hard work. While Crystal's out there fixing it. So there would be an American Savings Bank slide right here, right now. So you can picture that. And I'd like to start by thanking our title sponsor, whose partnership and investment in PACE makes this semester-long program possible. Thanks, Rich, and American Savings Bank. And we also have some very generous prize sponsors. So the University of Hawaii Office of the Vice President of Research and Innovation. David Ice here, actually representing that office. Thank you, David. And I-Beam is a staunch supporter. So, and Beeling, one of our judges, and Pia is here, and we should clap. And then of course, Pia Orma from Pineapple Tweed. I'm doing that. I didn't touch anything. And then of course, I didn't see Greg yet, but Greg Kim from Vantage Council, and Omar Sultan isn't here, but Tarek Sultan from Sultan Ventures is here. All of these people have devoted their professional expertise to these teams and as part of the prizes. So thank you, all of you. So you can find the complete list of prizes on page 11 and 12, and I won't bore you with them, but you know, the combined package of 40,000 or so of cash and in-kind prizes is a wonderful way of getting these real businesses started or getting them to continue. If you were here in November, you might recognize a few of these teams. So the Breakthrough Innovation Challenge, actually 3 of the finalists today were also finalists in the... Maybe it's my defibrillator. They were also in the... So 3 of our finalists today were also in the Breakthrough Innovation Challenge. And that may seem like a deja vu, but in actuality, that's what we're doing here. We're building a pathway for student entrepreneurs from one program to carry over to another program. And so I'm delighted to see this working so well, that we have such a continuity between the Breakthrough Innovation Challenge and this event. We had to take those very early stage ideas and work really, really hard to get here. And then I also expect to see them again. We have our Summer Startup Launchpad just around the corner, starting in the middle of May. And we hope to see many of them again. In fact, the winners get an automatic pass into that competition. And then after that, they have a chance to go to Accelerate UH, which is going to launch another cohort in the fall. So you see there's a real pathway after which some of our student entrepreneurs would have had literally thousands of hours of time working on their business, hundreds of hours of mentorship time and coaching and so forth. So I think UH has created a wonderful runway, a wonderful launch pad, and that's really what we're trying to do here. So our first touch with some of these teams started in September when they participated in a pitch event at Campus Center. And then, as I said, some of them competed in the Breakthrough Innovation Challenge sponsored by Acuity in the fall. And then in January, they took the big step to compete in this competition. And we hope you'll notice, if you were here for the Breakthrough Innovation Challenge, we hope you'll see how much progress that they've made. So this competition the business plan competition is a semester-long, 3-round competition that started in January with 25 teams. And the students here will tell you that this is an intense program. Over the past 3 months, they've poured hundreds of hours into interviewing potential customers, into developing real traction for their businesses, and creating a comprehensive business plan. And now what you're going to see tonight is their very compelling pitches. They had a lot of help along the way. So our friends from Kenobi Martins flew down to do a special IP workshop in January. We had 2 Saturday workshops, which were instructed in partnership with American Savings Bank, with Accelerate UH, and with Vantage Council. We gave teams exclusive access to our co-working space, and each semi-finalist was matched with a dedicated coach. So the coaches have done wonderful service here, and I'd like to recognize them. So if you're a coach and you're here, would you just stand, please? So to the finalist teams, congratulations on your many months of hard work. And there were many outstanding ideas in teams, and it was hard to get to this spot. So it's a pressure-driven and time-consuming process, and you should be really proud of your achievements. So I want to talk about our judges for a second. So they're helping to make a really hard decision. When we were briefing them backstage, I was basically saying, yeah, after this you have to go back and duke it out with each other on who's going to win. It's going to be really hard, but we're going to bring you food. And so we're not giving them a lot to go on, but they've had to put in some prep time too. So thank you to the judges. So let me introduce them before you clap. Sorry, out of order. So Sandra Fujiyama is the Innovation and Business Development Officer for the UH Office of Innovation and Commercialization. Sandra. Rich Wacker is the President and CEO of American Savings Bank. We're also lucky to have him as the Chairman of our Board of Directors at PACE. And so, Yi-Ling Chua has graciously agreed to be a judge at the last minute because Ben Gotzi from ProService had to cancel. So she's got the hardest job to do. Thank you so much for that. And since Yi-Ling's bio is not in the program, I just wanted to very quickly tell you a little bit about her if you don't know her already, and most of us know her well, and we're so grateful for her service to entrepreneurs in Hawaii. So she's the Executive Director of HighBeam, and she was the first Executive Director of the HPU Entrepreneurship Center. She has deep ties in Hong Kong, and having served as the founding director and the faculty member of the Chinese University of Hong Kong Center for Entrepreneurship, and on the advisory and vetting committees of the Hong Kong government's Cyberport IncuTrain Center, and is a mentor for the Hong Kong Science and Technology Parks. Thank you. Rich and Sandra's bios are on pages 9 and 10. Thank you all so much. So before we begin the presentation, which I promise you is coming up just a second, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Before we begin the first presentation, I have a couple of housekeeping announcements though. So you're not allowed to interact, you meaning the audience, you can see you. You're not allowed to interact with the presenters or the judges during the presentations. So you might be tempted to throw out a really hard question or a really softball question, but you don't get to. It's only for the judges. Thank you very much. I encourage you to talk to them after they're done presenting, and then you can really hammer them on the hard questions that you're holding. So please try not to cause disruptions while presentations are in session. That was written there, I had to say that, sorry. And if your phones are on, can you turn them off? And so we're going to give 10 minutes for presentations and 10 minutes to take questions from the judges. Everybody ready? Okay. So first team up is G-Trainer.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Austin Yoshino. I am the founder and CEO.
I'm Everett Amundsen, the COO.
I'm Kendra Horvath, the CMO.
And I'm Jillian Kuba, the medical lead.
We were founded in November of 2018 after winning PACE's Breakthrough Innovation Challenge in dedication to my little brother, Brant Yoshino, who has cerebral palsy. Here is a video of him scoring his first goal in his AYSO Special Olympics soccer game. He is using a walking assistant device called a gait trainer to be mobile. While this device may be suitable for large, spacey locations, it becomes impractical when using in smaller, tight-knit locations. As you can see in his upper picture, his device barely fits in the doorway of our own home, making it a nightmare for other practical usage such as the classroom or going grocery store shopping with my parents.
So a gait trainer is a walking assistance device designed for individuals with motor disabilities to allow them to develop proper gait. These are a few of the current models on the market right now. As you can see, they all follow a similar design of a wide and bulky base. Now, I want to introduce you to our revolutionary product, the G Trainer.
Our G Trainer takes the wide and bulky base, which has 4 wheels of a traditional gait trainer, and makes it in line with 2 gyroscopic wheels. This essentially turns it from a car into a sleek motorcycle.
Our innovative frame will feature self-stabilizing gyroscopic technology that we will embed into the wheels of our device. This will allow us to significantly reduce the frame size, giving the user much more freedom and functionality. We have a provisional patent pending status on the combination of gyroscopic technology and gait trainers. Our product will be the first of its kind to incorporate modern technology into previously pure mechanical systems. In the top right-hand corner, we can see a child learning to ride a bike for the first time without the use of training wheels. This is because of his redesigned front wheel, which features self-stabilizing gyroscopic technology. In the top left, we have the popular solo wheel. This was created by Shane Chen, who we are in contact with, as both of our products use similar technological applications. This is our 3D printed conceptual prototype of our device. We had the opportunity to participate in the Island Innovation Day last Tuesday and made a connection with Madhu, who is the CEO of Leave a Nest. He has offered his facilities to allow us to further prototype, manufacture, and test our device, and we will be in contact with him this summer to hopefully get that done. In the bottom picture, you can see how my brother is supported in his current gait trainer. He is supported in his underarm and groin areas, which are extremely uncomfortable positions to be in for a long extended period of time. This design significantly reduces his usage time to 5 minutes to 45 minutes. In order to fix this, we've incorporated a best style harness, which distributes pressure equally throughout the upper body to increase comfort.
The G Trainer has 2 primary target markets. The first target market is individuals with movement disorders, and the second is individuals who have suffered a stroke. The movement disorder market in the US alone is 1.8 million individuals strong. Of this movement disorder market, the G Trainer would like to focus on 3 primary movement disorders. This includes cerebral palsy, muscular dystrophy, and spina bifida.
Individuals with movement disorders can greatly benefit from the G Trainer, as gait training is an essential part of their physical therapy. It helps to prevent other medical issues such as muscle atrophy, and also helps them to improve their walking and gait. Current gait trainers, however, have a limited usage time due to the discomfort of the patient while using this device. And so we at Gait Trainer are looking to increase this usage time by improving the comfort of the support system to allow them to use it for longer and get the most out of their physical therapy exercise. Additionally, we're looking to, with the frame, make it easier for them to maneuver so that they are able to improve their quality of life by being able to participate in more activities and in general have greater mobility.
Our second and largest growing market for the G-Trainer is individuals who have suffered a stroke. In the United States, 800,000 individuals suffer a stroke every single year, and this number is growing with our aging population. Of this 800,000, 2/3 of those individuals require rehabilitation, including walking rehabilitation. This is where the G-Trainer comes in. If individuals who suffer a stroke can have continual practice using the G-Trainer not only in physical therapy offices, but at their home or wherever else they may go, they are able to recover faster and better.
As Kendra said, for stroke patients, it's pivotal that they are maintain consistency for their physical therapy exercises, which can be hard when you don't have access to any type of machinery that the physical therapy offices provide. That's where the G-Trainer comes in. It's great because the G-Trainer can be used both in the physical therapy office and at home. Additionally, this would definitely help in shortening the recovery time as they get more practice with their physical therapy exercises.
Our business model has greatly helped by our traction that we have gained. Our largest partnership is with United Cerebral Palsy. We have made a great connection with United Cerebral Palsy Hawaii and the executive director, who has agreed to circulate our survey to a nationwide audience. This means that we can bring great market insight from people with cerebral palsy specifically that tells us what issues they have with their current gait trainer, if they are willing to pay the price for our new G-Trainer, and what improvements we could make to make sure that our G-Trainer is 100% perfect. We also have a great established connection with Hawaii Small Business Development Center. They have essentially agreed to help us with whatever shortcomings we have, which include legal teams and finance advice. Lastly, as Austin touched on, we have a great connection with Leva Nest, who has agreed to help us do our manufacturing and our prototyping in Japan. Our customer acquisition model focuses on 3 primary markets. The first is private parties. In order to gain a greater access to this market, we have agreed to engage in pre-sales, which will allow the G-Trainer to be sold for half of the regular retail price. Not only will this allow for more people to get access to the G-Trainer, but it will give us more information about marketing and also ensure that the G-Trainer is 100% perfect before it gets made in mass production. Secondly, we would like to implement a rental or resale program for individuals who have suffered a stroke, because these stroke patients will not need the G-Trainer forever. This means that more people who have suffered a stroke can have access to the G-Trainer for less money. We'd also like to connect with additional movement disorder and stroke organizations to ensure that all of their grant money can go towards getting more of their individuals the G-Trainer. Lastly, we would like to utilize a connection with a medical equipment distribution company to ensure that this product gets to our target market.
As you can see here, we have forecasted our net income for the first 5 years of our business. We will become profitable within the fourth year, netting $1.081 million. Our expected return on investment after 3 years of sales is $2.8 million. Our break-even point will be reached in the year 2022 during the 3rd quarter. We expect to need $350,000 worth of funding to reach that. We expect sales growth of 16% from the first year to the second, and an additional 30% from the second year to the third. As for pricing, as you can see on the graph, the gray section is a conventional wheelchair. A conventional wheelchair is about $8,000 to $10,000, and a powered wheelchair is approximately 3.5 times that cost. We have priced our G-Trainer at about double of a regular gait trainer, which we feel is more than fair.
This is our current team. As you can see, we are a lot bigger than when you last saw us at the BIC Challenge. We are very thankful for our board of advisors who have helped us along our endeavors so far. In closing out our presentation, I'd like to end with a quote from someone who has inspired me greatly. For as long as I can remember, my mother has always preached to me that when you love what you do, you will never work a day in your life. Not only do we love what we do here, but we love why we do it. For most of us, getting up out of our seats tonight, under our own power, we have no issue. This is a blessing that we often take for granted. For people who struggle, we have become a symbol of hope for them to remain optimistic and positive about their future, knowing that there is always a better way and that G-Trainer is here to make it. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you for your presentation and for your ideas. It's really very worthwhile idea and a device. You describe it quite a bit, but I still cannot imagine how it works. I know that I see the traditional one, the conventional one, and I can see that it's very bulky and big because it has to distribute the weight of the individual and support them. But I just cannot imagine for this like a single chair and how would it, is there any, do you have any kind of animation that would describe or that would demonstrate how it works?
Mhm. So this bottom portion of the G-Trainer will be something that they will straddle over. It's a similar design to one of the other G-Trainers that we mentioned, the Pony, although the Pony is still very wide and bulky. The gyroscopic wheels resist toppling forces in the side-to-side direction, and so a lot of G-Trainers are really bulky this way because if they were to tip over, it needs to catch them. However, our gyroscopic wheel will resist those forces, so it will be in between. They won't be able to fall over.
It essentially helps them balance. As we spoke earlier, or as you can see right now in the top right, the reason that bike can go without the training wheels is because the gyroscope helps it stay upright and it helps it balance, which is similar to what our G-Trainer would do because it would have two inline gyroscopic wheels in between the legs.
No. We would be doing testing and engineering to ensure that there's no possible waste on overfall. We wouldn't put it on the market if we weren't 100% sure.
Okay, so I guess that leads to a follow-up question. I'm glad that you're going to test it and make sure that nobody falls, but there are liability issues, so like product liability issues if it does happen, and I mean, is that something you guys took into consideration?
So I actually used to work for Underwriters Laboratory, which does a lot of different product safety certification. So one of the great benefits about not only this product testing that we're going to do on our own, but with UL, they certify almost every single medical device on the market. So what they do is they not only test that it's impossible for, essentially impossible for any kind of person to, in our case, fall over, but they also do strenuous testing to make sure that if something were to break on our product, it still will not fail. So what UL certification does is they not only test it, but they also advise us on how to ensure that no matter what, even if something goes wrong in our product, the person will not fall over.
I mean, so I definitely think it's wonderful. It's wonderful what you did. It's wonderful what you're producing. And I mean, just like you guys saying this now, what it made me think in my head is, why wouldn't other people like this as well? Like you could have a different market. It could be just the everyday person buying it to have transportation where they wouldn't have to walk. So.
Well, our device doesn't necessarily walk for them. The point of our device is for them to get exercise using normal walking muscles. We have thought of using similar technological applications to develop products for the elderly, injured veterans, and so forth.
As you looked at the other applications, because I'm thinking about the price and the cost of the machine, right? So it's 3.5 times some of the,
2 times.
2 times? Okay, great. The other alternatives, so then you look at the other applications and you mentioned stroke and other. How did you get an idea of where it would be a good substitute and where it might be a good economic trade-off as well compared to the alternatives?
Well, so I used to work at Island Neuro Rehab, which is a basically a physical rehabilitation facility that specializes in traumatic brain injury or like stroke. And we found that a huge reason why people don't progress as quickly as possible is because they aren't consistent in their exercises and activities, because we use equipment that's similar to the G trainer that has resistance or allows them to walk in a stable manner, but it's mostly on us as physical therapists to kind of hold them up. And so I think the gait trainer is really great also because, as Austin was saying about his little brother Bran, that he's very limited by the discomfort of the actual device. So even though they have it at home, he can't necessarily utilize it to the greatest degree.
Kendra had mentioned that we plan on using a rental program because stroke recovery ranges from 6 to 8 months. And so they only would need our device from that time. So that way it helps to cover the cost. They won't be paying the $10,000 out of pocket.
So in that case, in these cases, is it the physical therapist that, or center that buys the devices and rents them out to the patients, or are you going, is it the patient themselves who buy it?
Yeah, so we're going to be looking at insurance, selling it to Medicare or Medicaid. Basically, from my understanding of the insurance, is that we have to pitch to them after it gets the prototype is done, and then we are able to get it approved for safety through the FDA. So our biggest, I think, advantage for the gait trainer is the fact that people can use it more often and they get better quicker, and therefore they save money, because you'd have to think like in a rehabilitation hospital, each day of the stay is maybe like $5,000 in itself. And so in saving the insurance company money, they will hopefully support our product, and then we will go through probably a distributor.
Ideally, it would be both. We would sell our product to the rehabilitation center, and then the patient would go and use it there, and then we would rent it to them for them to take home on our private party. One of the things we plan on incorporating is an app where their physical therapist can customize a workout program for them that will display and work with our device.
Yeah, no, that's terrific. I'm glad you mentioned that part of it, because I think when you're coming in at this price point, it's a small car, right? So you want to make sure that you've looked at the economics from the point of view of the insurers and the system, and that you've got a good case to show savings. And so I think that piece will be important. So CFO, you got good work to do once you guys get a prototype and can demonstrate. But I want to congratulate you on your passion for this too. I think it's terrific.
Okay, next up, we have Okada Kitchen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our company is called Okada Kitchen. My name is Asuka Suzuki. I am a registered dietitian, also nurse and PhD student in human nutrition at the University of Hawaii, Manoa. And I am responsible for product development.
And I'm Janan Bana. I'm also a registered dietitian and professor of nutrition at the University of Hawaii, and I'm going to be in charge of operations.
As a dietitian and a PhD student, I had many opportunities to interview families on Oahu regarding diet and health. Many of them said, I want to lose weight because everyone in my family has diabetes. So if I'm getting fat, and I will be develop diabetes eventually. But it is very difficult to stop eating sweets and fatty food, including donuts or pizza, and it's very hard to resist it. And I totally understand what they said. I mean, I do too. It's very hard to understand. It's hard to resist these unhealthy food items. And so I always thought about how we could change these unhealthy popular food items into healthier food options. And last year, I had the privilege of working at the Culinary Innovation Center at the Kapiolani Community College. And at that time, I was dedicated to development of making new food product using the ingredients which were usually not consumed, including okra. And okra has high nutrient, and then when I discovered okra, I came up with one idea. How about making a pizza crust out of okra? Okra pizza is eco-friendly, plant-based, high fiber, high protein, low fat, and it is gluten-free, egg and dairy-free, and cholesterol-free. Okra is a byproduct of tofu and soy milk. One of the tofu companies in Hawaii produces about 4,000 pounds of okra every day. Using okra, our company is not only making pizza crust, but also making donuts and bread, also other pastries. We have done several taste testings. 34 culinary students tasted our pizza crust, and they really liked it, and they said they would buy this pizza crust if the price is between $5 to $6. 50% of them said. And 40% of people said they would buy our pizza crust if the price is between $7 to $8. Here is another result. 57 nutrition students, faculty, and staff in Hawaii also tasted our Hawaiian okra mochi cake, and they also liked it. More than 90% of people said they would buy this product, and they rated 8 out of 10. And 40% of them regularly buy the gluten-free product. They really liked our pizza crust because our pizza crust, the texture is kind of mochi, and they said it is not floury, not fatty, and they think it's healthy. Also, our Hawaiian mochi cake is the same. They think it's healthy because of high fiber and high protein. And they love the idea that we are using a byproduct, so which is eco-friendly. Here is our market opportunities. Gluten-free is a growing market from 2016. In 2016, the revenue of the gluten-free market is $7.28 billion, and it is predicted because of increasing the number of health-conscious consumers. Revenue of frozen pizza market was $4.8 billion, and it may not be dramatically growing next couple of years. However, they have an area that specialty pizza, which includes low carbohydrate and gluten-free pizza. So this market will be growing in the frozen pizza section. Also, we believe that someone who are concerned environment, also someone who wants to lose weight, they will be interested in our product.
In terms of our competitors, we have only identified one company in the US producing okara products, and that is Renewal Mill in California. They are producing okara flour and okara chocolate chip cookies. In addition, there are a number of alternative pizza crust companies with gluten-free crust and crusts made from ingredients such as tapioca flour, who are also our competitors. And in addition to that, we have identified competitors at the farmers market where we're going to start selling, who are also selling pizza. Those are not gluten-free. And we also have a lot of other gluten-free products that are competing with our product. Here's a comparison of our okara pizza crust with some other popular alternative pizza crusts. And you can see the unique features of our crust. And of note, we're the only company created by nutritionists, so we are both registered dietitians and do research and teach in the nutrition field, which makes us particularly unique. Here's a comparison of the nutrient profile of our crust versus another popular alternative crust. And you can see that our crust is quite low in fat and high in fiber and compares in terms of protein content. In terms of the channels, we would like to start selling at the farmers market. At the farmers market, we're going to be obtaining feedback about our product, we're going to be educating people about our product, and then we are going to be expanding beyond that into restaurants. We're going to be expanding to online sales, and eventually, as a last step, into supermarkets. We have completed a number of marketing activities already. So we have developed a website. You can see a screenshot of the website's homepage here. We have developed a logo, and we anticipate performing marketing through channels such as YouTube and Facebook Live, through which we will present videos of our products, showing how to use our products and make different recipes, use different recipes, and we're also going to be posting professional photographs of our products on channels such as Instagram. In terms of our plan for growth, as I mentioned, phase 1 will be the farmers market, and we will be selling pizza at the farmers market. Then we will be expanding to making our flour using our own flour mill. We're going to be working out of a commercial kitchen. And we will be at that point expanding to online sales as well as into restaurants, and we're going to be having pop-up events with chefs. Phase 3 will then be the supermarkets, through which we will sell flour, and we will also sell a whole host of other products. You can see the financial breakdown for phase 1 here. So our monthly sales of almost $5,000, our gross profit of 80%, and almost $4,000. And then you can see phase 2 here, which includes the farmers market as well as the online sale of flour, because we will continue the farmers market sales during that time. And you can see the average monthly sales of about $10,000. In terms of phase 3, we will expand to other products, and the flour will be one of those, and we're going to start making flour that is fortified with other nutrients to make our company particularly unique. We have been working with a number of very esteemed advisors who have been advising us on our business strategy and on marketing, and we're going to continue working closely with those individuals going forward. And we would like to acknowledge our mentor here in the audience, Glenn Boulware, who's been so helpful, as well as Michael Rodriguez, who helped us with web design, and all of the other wonderful mentors who have been so gracious with their time. Thank you. And we now have some samples for the judges.
Can you explain the timeline for the 3 phases? Like, what is your expectation to accomplish all of that?
Yeah, so in terms of the timeline, we have in our business plan described the first year of the plan being the farmer's market. So at that time, as I mentioned, we're going to be educating, we're going to be obtaining feedback. Then in the second year, in our business plan, we outlined that we would continue at the farmer's market, and at that point, we're also going to start with the online flower sales. And so after that point, we're going to be then expanding into supermarkets, and I should mention the restaurants in the second phase as well. So we're going to hold the pop-up events, and we will be working with chefs to obtain feedback and get those products into restaurants during the phase 2 second year.
So I mean, I think it's great that you guys are using something that's waste and then making it useful. I think that's wonderful. And I guess my question on timing and timeline is, when you think about competitors or people out there in the market, what is stopping someone else from coming in and doing the same thing that you're doing? Do you have protections in place, like IP protection, trade secret protection?
Okay, so I have several slides related to that question. The first one, I think I passed it, was about the legal considerations. So since a legal question, we'll start with this slide. First we're going to be establishing an LLC. We're going to have the law clinic at UH working with us to help with the documents, and we'll be continually working with the law clinic so they can advise us on legal issues. Our recipes will be trade secrets, so we're going to have a number of different products, and as I mentioned, we're also going to be producing fortified products, which will distinguish us from competitors, and will be also attractive to athletes, people who might be interested perhaps in high protein products or products with particular vitamins or minerals, or people interested in beauty. So we will have any organizations using our recipe sign a non-disclosure agreement, and we're going to have trademark registration to protect our brand. So we plan to register a trademark for all names here in the state related to okara. And then I should further expand on your question, because I think it also relates to barriers to entry, right? What stops other people from doing the same thing? So, as I mentioned, first we're going to have unique recipes, so we're going to be fortifying our flour and really have something that distinguishes us from competitors and might not be something that other people would know how to do or be able to easily replicate. And then we also will create a niche, as I mentioned, so we're going to be able to appeal to those specific groups I just noted. And we're also going to be involved with the effective marketing to foster brand loyalty. So we're going to get our name out there quickly. As I mentioned, we have very esteemed individuals who will be helping us with marketing, so they're going to be advising along the way. And we are going to be the original okara pizza.
So can you describe, so I assume that what you're doing then is you're working with the processors of soy and tofu to take the byproduct, and then you'll be processing. What's involved on your end, and how intensive is the processing? And then since it's food, how did you get comfortable with the amount of control and hygiene and all those things that you're going to have to do?
Thank you for that question. So, first of all, I should mention that we've already been in conversation with Aloha Tofu. So Asuka spoke with that company, and they are going to be selling us their okara at a specified price. And so we've already established a relationship with them. And of course, we're going to also be establishing relationships with other tofu companies in case that may fall through, or they decide to start using their own okara to make products, which is probably a good idea. That's the first thing to note. And then apart from that, I should first say that we're going to be working out of a commercial kitchen, so that helps quite a bit in terms of the complying with the regulations. So I've got a slide here that relates to, I think it's back, FDA and Department of Health requirements. So in terms of the Food and Drug Administration, they have record-keeping requirements, so we need to keep notes of all the facilities that we work with, so that if we are working with Aloha Tofu, we need to keep a record, that we're working with them, and other tofu companies, we need to keep a record of where we're preparing our products. All establishments involved in the making of our products needs to be documented. There are also labeling requirements with the Food and Drug Administration, so we need to review those and make sure our label is in compliance with that. The inspection of the commercial kitchen is not required before operation, but we do need to have agreements with the commercial kitchen to comply with the Department of Health requirements. And so we need that agreement with the commercial kitchen signed to obtain the permit from the Department of Health. And we also need a farmers market special event permit, which also requires the signature of the commercial kitchen.
Sorry, and so then you feel like you got in your pro formas the costs of doing this at scale and maintaining the documentation and all that, you think?
That's right. So we have included in our business plan, you'll note that we have included funds for the permits, for the Department of Health. We have funds for the commercial kitchen. So we have included those costs.
So one suggestion on the marketing is, while the recycling element of it is, good, I don't really want to eat waste.
This has come up a number of times.
So I emphasize more the taste than the waste part, and as you go out to do the actual marketing.
Thank you. As nutritionists, we need a little guidance. Thank you.
Well, I also don't want to deprive the livestock of their food source too, of a very healthy food source. But I get it that it's there's a ton of leftover, and it has to be. And this is just one of the options, good options. And both of you are extremely qualified, I must say, looking at your credentials. I just want to question the sample that you've given us. It tastes like dessert. Is this dessert rather than a pizza crust?
This is actually not pizza crust. We had a little bit accident and we couldn't make pizza, but this one is Hawaiian okara mochi, so this is a dessert.
Okay. Oh, it's a mochi cake. All right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it is very delicious. And I look forward. Yeah, that's right. Because I really wanted the crunch. Thank you.
Next up is Chava.
Hello? Health is the new wealth. We're currently seeing a visible shift towards health and wellness in our generation, and now is the time to promote that market here in Hawaii by promoting conscious consumption. I'm Jack.
And I'm Alex.
And we're the co-founders of Chava, Oahu's first non-alcoholic bar specializing in local kombucha and kava products.
So Chava gets its name from the words kombucha and kava. Serendipitously, we found that the name Chava means life in the Hebrew language. This aligns perfectly with our company's core values of being local, sustainable, and social. We strive to bring life to our customers, our consumers, and our environment.
Through feedback from our customers, talks with our peers, and our own personal experience, we identified 3 problems that we thought were worth solving. First of all, those under 21 are stuck feeling left out and excluded from bar and nightlife culture. And for this reason, many of them are driven to either get fake IDs or go to house parties and drink illegally. Secondly, there's a lack of health and wellness products here in Hawaii. Hawaii has long been known as the happiest and healthiest state, and we need more businesses to promote that. Finally, there's a lack of variety for kombucha and kava lovers. There's over 10 different small craft kombucha breweries across the state, and only products from about 3 of those breweries are available on Oahu. Additionally, kava or ava in Hawaiian was a canoe plant that was brought here by the first Hawaiians, yet most of the kava on the shelves today is from Fiji. So to solve these problems, first of all, Chava will be an all-inclusive, non-age restrictive, non-alcoholic bar. Secondly, we'll feature tons of health and wellness products that align with our wholesome values. And finally, we'll have a variety of kava and kombucha products from around the state.
So as Jack mentioned, Hawaii is known to be the happiest state in the nation. People come here for relaxation and pleasure, and we hope to perpetuate that through a mindful mixology. Our products are local, healthy, and delicious. Our signature products are the kombucha mocktails, which you have in front of you, which are a take on the classic cocktail, using kombucha as the base as opposed to alcohol. We also offer kombucha on tap in the form of samplers and flights, as well as kava served traditionally in shot form and in chocolates.
Our business model at the moment does not involve actually brewing kombucha. Rather, we curate our products from local businesses, breweries, and farms. We then combine them under our roof and serve them to our customers at a markup. Here's a typical cost breakdown of one of our mocktails, our signature mojito. As you can see, it costs us about $1.90 to produce before labor costs. We then turn this around and sell it for $7, netting us a profit of around $5 or a 70% markup. The kombucha industry right now is valued at $760 million. However, this is expected to blow up to over $5 billion by 2025. It's a CAGR of around 23%.
So these are some of the popular kombucha brands you've definitely seen in passing at your local grocery stores. An illustration of kombucha's success is that Coca-Cola, the world's leading beverage brand, has just acquired BrewDoctor, and Pepsi, its largest competitor, has just acquired Kavita. So our current partners are Sky Kombucha in Waimanalo, Hawilo Chocolates on Hawaii Island, and Pu'uohoku Ranch on Molokai. Our target customers are young adults between the ages of 18 and 35. Our customers enjoy kombucha or kava, are active on social media, are health conscious, and have a disposable income. In short, our target customers are healthy, wealthy, and trendy.
It's stated in a carbonated soft drinks report that 51% of millennials already drink kombucha on a regular basis. If you take that in the context of Oahu, that's around 187,000 visitors every year from the US alone, and that's 150,000 locals, making our total addressable market around 340,000. Capturing a small 5% of that market would net Chava $118,000 annually. Now these numbers are very conservative considering we're not considering anyone outside of that age range or that's not from the United States.
So in order to acquire these customers, Chava's marketing strategy is built on a foundation of customer loyalty. First, we'll touch on social media marketing. We found that virality can be the key to success in the food and beverage industry, and we hope to perpetuate that through postable aesthetics, both in our products and physical presence. We'll also utilize influencer marketing, as well as having incentives for tagging to have our customers do the work for us. We'll also utilize word of mouth marketing, which is incredibly important in our island ecosystem. We'll do that through referrals and reviews, as well as offering buddy discounts. Third, Chava will engage with its community. We'll collaborate with other organizations to organize events such as beach cleanups and Lo'i workdays, as well as host on-site events such as live performances, whether that be music or art, film screenings, yoga, meditation, and more. Through all of these events, we can expand our marketing reach through platforms such as Eventbrite and the press. In addition to this, we'll also supplement our marketing with selective paid advertising. This can be done through Google AdWords, paid Yelp listings, as well as sponsored Instagram posts.
So our current competitors that have products similar to us on Oahu right now are The Cove, the Sunrise Shack, and Nalu Health Bar. Here you can see a breakdown of all of the similar services and products that they offer and what Chava offers. We like to think that we combine all of the best aspects of our competitors under one roof.
So here are some case studies that validate the market of a non-alcoholic bar. We have Brooklyn Kava, Alchemy, and Mad Hatters. All of these establishments serve either kombucha or kava and have seen long-term success, validating that there is a market for non-alcoholic bars. Some key metrics that we'd like to highlight is that Chava is already an operational business. We've made over 125 sales at 9 pop-ups and have netted over $900 of revenue. We've also seen a lot of social traction despite relatively recent launches of our social media pages. Our Instagram has over 240 followers. We've seen our customers repost our products Reach out to us due to great experiences, leave reviews, as well as comment and engage on our posts.
I'd like to now take a moment to dive into our team, which at the moment consists of Alex and I. We're both huge lovers of kombucha and proponents of sustainability, and we are our target audience. We're young adults, we spend way too much money on kombucha, and we are on social media all the time. As well, I have some experience in the startup community here. I am the Director of Operations for Hawaii Student Entrepreneurs at UH. I worked for Shaka Guide, which was a local startup that went through Blue Startups Cohort 10, and I'm one of the directors for Nalukai Startup Camp on the Big Island. I've also been to over 20 different countries, and through this travel experience, I've witnessed firsthand where this market is moving, both domestically and internationally, and can position ourselves well to be ahead of our competitors.
And along with similar travel experience, I'm also a pre-medical student at the University of Hawaii. So with that being said, I'm passionate about the health and wellness here in the islands. I'm also an expert in social media as an influencer myself. I have over 4,000 followers and have worked with over 15 different companies. So Chava's growth comes in 3 phases. First were our pop-ups, which acted as a minimum viable product to determine our customers' taste palette as well as their cost comfortability.
We now see ourselves ready to move into phase 2, which will be our mobile concept. This will help us move around in a food truck, which will be kind of like a mobile kombucha and kava bar. We'll be able to move around the island and see where our customers shop the most. We'll also be able to build additional traction and capital for our business to move into phase 3, where we can see our vision come to life.
So as Jack says, phase 3 is a brick and mortar location which accomplishes our vision of being a social setting. This is a representation of the aesthetics and social scene that we hope to be, where people of all ages can come and gather.
In terms of some metrics, after we move into phase 2, it will only take about 2,600 sales for us to recoup our costs for the food truck, and that will be over the course of around 8 weeks. From there, we can start building more capital and figuring out metrics for phase 3.
So in sum, Chava is a pauhana for all. We hope to be a gathering place for visionaries, entrepreneurs, visitors, and locals of all ages. We're helping to build a community of small businesses that make Hawaii what it is, happy and healthy. Thank you, and if you'd like to learn more about us, we invite you to visit us at our next pop-up on Sunday at the Farmers Market at Kamehameha Schools.
Thanks for your time. We'll now take any questions.
Did you say that this is non-alcoholic?
Yeah, so kombucha has around,
Sorry. No, I'm just asking because I thought kava has some alcohol content.
no, so kombucha has around anywhere from 0.5 to 0% alcohol, so it's negligible. You can sell it on the shelves to anyone under 21. And kava is actually just a traditional root beverage that utilizes a substance called cavalactones rather than alcohol or some sort of psychoactive substance.
Okay. So it's permissible.
Yes, it's not regulated by the FDA.
All right, because I feel a little buzz.
Maybe placebo because it looks like them.
Well, it's an interesting concept because you're not making the product, but you're bringing together all the different products and creating an experience for
Exactly.
millennials or anybody else.
Anyone, but our target audience that we've sold to so far has been in that millennial age group.
Okay, thank you.
So is your company to be a bar? Or because you're not in the product, right? And so as you think about the growth of the market and you talk about your observations about how the adoption internationally and other places is going, is it your vision that you would franchise? Is it your vision, how would you capture the value that you're trying to create? Because the people who will benefit most are the producers from what you're doing, because you're making it hip and trendy and creating a great environment. But scaling for you, it will be challenging as you go to physical brick and mortar. So how do you think about what you want your company to be?
Okay, yeah, thanks for asking that. So we really wanted to see something exist that we wish existed right now. I just turned 21, she's not yet 21, and we've experienced throughout our time in college, like we can't go out, we can't engage in nightlife, And so we really want to see this like experience come to life where young adults or people who just don't drink alcohol, maybe you're religious, maybe you're allergic to alcohol, you can come socialize and engage in these products. And kava has like another kind of relaxing effect as well. And so we want to see that happen at least once. And then we could potentially follow the Banan model in the future of kind of moving through phases where we have our food truck, we build capital, we get our final location, and see how that goes. And then we can expand to either other parts of Oahu or the outer islands. And then we've even considered far down the line, expanding to places like Bali, where kombucha is found in every single restaurant, and it's like one of the biggest products there.
Okay, so following up on Rich's question, I know that you mentioned like Arvo in your business plan, and I guess the other thing I'm just thinking about is like, let's say a company like them or Starbucks came in and made these same drinks. Did you take that into account, or what happens to your company if it turns out some other big company comes in and does similar things and maybe at a lower cost?
Yeah, so the whole idea and value proposition of Chava is, first of all, our leadership. We understand the product, we understand our customers, and we understand the vision that we want to see happen. And it isn't so much product-centered. We can always pivot in the future to other products or try to lower our costs by getting larger production or even producing kombucha ourselves. But really, we are just using the kombucha and the kava as a platform to have that socialization and that place to come to enjoy a product that has that bar and tap room feeling, right? You can get kombucha on tap, you can get a mocktail, you can take shots. Like it's that fun bar experience with bartenders, and it isn't so much about the product. We just find that this product does have a lot of traction. We are very passionate about it, and it is profitable.
And I think on top of that, in terms of the product, we'll also retain our uniqueness through having seasonal drinks. So for example, at each of our pop-ups, we try to theme it towards whatever event we're at. So for example, we just had a Bali theme tonight, and we had a Bali and air drink. We had Christmas drinks and all of that. And I think in addition to that, we'll also have different events. So we'll have happy hours, or the social events will also keep us unique as opposed to Starbucks and their quick service.
Yeah, that was a huge part of what we want to implement at Chava, which is live music multiple times per week. So you have that venue to go to, movie screenings, if you have a new surf film coming out, we want to have movie nights, get people in the door for more than just our products, and then keep them there with our products. Thanks.
Okay, and finally we have Dive Buddy.
Hello everyone, my name is Nicholas Olm and we are Dive Buddy. This is our team, co-founder Brad, Isaac handling marketing, Melody handling finances, and Zach handling operations.
So as ocean engineers, Nick and I love the ocean, and we love being in the water. We love just scuba diving, but we noticed there's a lot of issues with scuba diving. Here's just a huge list of things that can go wrong when you're in the water, making this an extremely dangerous sport. There's around 40 diving fatalities in the US every year and 1,000 diving accidents. This makes diving extremely dangerous, but also costly for dive tour companies who can have lawsuits up to $12 million for accidents. And some of the concerns that we've talked to with these dive companies is being hit by boats, getting lost from their dive tour group underwater, or just panicking and rushing to the surface and getting decompression illness. So to mitigate a lot of these risks, it's mandated by law that whenever you're in the water, you're supposed to have a dive flag buoy at all times. And this is so boats know there's scuba divers in the water. But as a scuba dive instructor, when you're swimming while carrying this rope with all this equipment, while also keeping track of your whole dive tour group, it can be really hazardous and can actually get tangled on you, creating another hazard. So to mitigate these kind of issues, we're looking at developing a wireless Dive Buddy drone, which we're calling Dive Buddy Artemis. And basic features of this include tracking up to 6 divers, mapping your dive, and also pre-programmed messaging. So how we're working at doing this is using our proprietary technology called GUPPI, which stands for Global Underwater Positioning Intelligence. Some background about being underwater is that GPS doesn't work, Wi-Fi does not work underwater, radar, electronic signals, lights. The only way to be underwater and navigate someone is with acoustic navigation. So we're looking at developing our own proprietary technology and incorporating this onto wearables for divers while they're diving, so that our drone can be on the surface of the water, following and tracking position and depth of the scuba divers at all times wirelessly. And this will free up instructors to be able to keep track of their group and also have a more enjoyable experience. But we realized if you have the position and depth of your diver, you can also send this to the dive tour boat nearby. So the captains on the boat are very concerned about their groups and where they are at all times in case they hit them. But now you can include this information onto an iPad or iPhone, and now you can look at them constantly in real time and where they are, and if they're in distress, and if they're coming to the surface, and also if they're leaving the range of their dive flag, they will be notified with sirens underwater. And when we talk to dive tour companies about this, they love the idea, and they're like, can you put an emergency button on it? So we put it, that was something we didn't think about, but yeah, you can put an emergency button on it, and if the dive tour boat needs to leave, then they can press a button, and everyone underwater will be notified that it's time to leave, there's a storm, or something's wrong.
So our target market is the scuba equipment industry. So this industry is $3.7 billion large. It's a fast-growing market at 4.7% growth annually. It's expected to get to $5.1 billion by 2025. There's over 6 million divers globally, half of them exist in the US. The way that we're going to target these customers is through a 3-phase, 5-year plan. We're going to start small. So our initial segment are local dive tour companies that we've agreed to work with for beta testing. And the reason that we're doing this is that we want to validate our technology and make sure that it's going to be safe and reliable. So in this phase, we're preparing for phase 2 when we do a full product release. So in phase 1, we're testing, getting testimonials, collecting content, and this is really to build our customer base. In phase 2, we're looking to expand to local and national dive tour companies. So this is when we're doing our official go-to-market. This is when we release features such as the 4K camera and sonar. This is when we're also going to be expanding and preparing for phase 3. Phase 3 is when we're really excited. We're going to mass market. We're diversifying our customer segments. This is going to be done by including a wearables line, as well as expanding our underwater communication system. This is going to help us to target the general consumer market, as well as international markets, and eventually academic and military uses. So we've already started gearing up for phase 1. We've acquired 6 letters of interest from 5 dive tour companies in the UH Dive Safety Office. The UH Dive Safety Office consists of 126 divers, while the dive tour companies that we've acquired letters of interest from, 2 of them are the largest in the state. One of them is a small dive tour company, as well as individual dive instructors, and the Kahalakai Charter Boat. Kahalakai represents 30 dive tour companies that don't own their own boat, so we're able to expand it in that way as well. The way we're going to go and market these dive tour companies is we're going to use phase 1, and the beta testers and the content that we create to do social media marketing, but the majority of our marketing in phase one will be face-to-face. So we're going to do direct-to-market sales, and we're looking to do this so that we can validate our technology with them, as well as go and do a lot of these scuba networking events. So with this, we've established a reputation and built awareness for our product. We've been invited to programs such as ThinkTech, but we're looking to make sure that we have a safe, viable product before we go and expand. That way, we're able to use our content in a more purposeful manner and build excitement for phase two. In phase two, this is when we're really going to aggressively market our product. We're going to attend trade shows such as DEMA, which is the largest dive equipment show in the world. We're going to hold sponsored events. This is where we're going to partner with local dive tour companies, and we're going to bring our product and let them use it, test it out with their customers, so both the customers and the dive tour get to test out our product. Finally, we're going to start doing product seeding with social media influencers. That way we're preparing for phase three. Phase three is when we're doing big sales, so we're going to license out our product so that we can achieve economies of scale, do more social media marketing, as well as do sponsored events for these new customer segments that we've described. For academic outreach and to make sure that researchers can use our product, we're going to attend a lot of these academic conferences and really represent that our product can be used in research purposes. Similar to our marketing strategy, we are having our revenue model in a way that is safe, sustainable, and reliable. So our product we're selling at a sticker price of $10,000 to $12,000, and I know this is a high premium, but we're allowing our customers to actually purchase this product in a leasing model where they buy it at $475 per month over the course of the lifetime of the product. We're confident that we know we can do this because in phase one and phase two, we're offering a fantastic customer service and maintenance model. So this model, we're going, and if your product breaks over the course of the lifetime of the product, we will go, replace it, and provide you a temporary dive buddy for the period of time that your dive buddy is being fixed. This is to ensure that no matter what, your product is safe and reliable. This is a safety product. We have to make sure that it works. And so here at Dive Buddy, we're really proud of this customer service model because to us, safety is of utmost importance. And we're able to do this actually because of a low production cost. It's only $500, and we have a high gross profit margin, which allows us to fold in those maintenance costs, still yielding roughly between $5,000 and $7,000 of profit. We're confident that we can project into a 5-year plan of financials. Within the first year, we're not expecting to have a net operating income. In phase 2, which is the following 2 years, we're going to have very modest ones. But in phase 3, this is when we're really looking to expand. We're hitting the mass market, and we're looking to have, by year 5, over $1 million of expected revenue. And we're confident that we can actually achieve this because of the value we provide our stakeholders. For dive tour companies, we provide them an extra layer of safety. So with this product, they know the position of their divers underwater. Additionally, they get data such as dive maps, so they can show this to their customers before they go on shore. And this gives them a competitive advantage. That way, they can actually generate more revenue. For divers, we give them peace of mind that the boat knows where they're at. We give them the convenience that they don't have to carry around this pesky rope. And we're providing them memories. This is your very first dive. You can go back, look at the photos, look at the maps, and have this to look back on. Before we end, I'd like to thank those who have been a part of our advisory board. So I'd like to say thank you to Robert Chu, Linda Louie, Glenn Yamamoto, Chris Wasikowski, Stanford Yoon, Coach Schemmer, Professor Coleman, Catherine Vessels, Cy Carnett, and Brandon Higa, as well as a huge thank you to our coach, Chris Liu. This wouldn't have been possible without you. And so in total, we want you to be our dive buddy.
Do you already have a prototype? Because I know that
We are in the development phase, but this is a scaled model that we're looking at developing, and the acoustic transponder would be on the bottom keel, and then we'd have our GPS nodule, which is the white, and a Wi-Fi antenna, which would communicate to the boat. So we're still developing, and a lot of this is a safety product, so we're working with UH to validate the technology and use of facilities there.
So have you already developed the technology that's going to do the communicating?
No, we're undergoing development phase this summer. This is phase one, is validating the reliability of our technology.
And I know that in your business plan, you talk about your proprietary technology and you're going to protect it. And so I was just wondering, whether it's all been, I guess in my head it was, has it all been tested already? Do you know what the technology is, or is it you're working that through?
Yeah, we're in development phase, yeah. We're still working that through for testing. And we're talking with UH professors in acoustics who are experts, and they love the idea and they want to work with us, and they're letting us use the equipment.
I really like how you started establishing the value proposition for the instructors, dive boat captains and all that, because you really can imagine how it can go. And I guess, can you explain, you talk about the wearables piece would come kind of in phase 3. What's the approach that you plan on using in phase 1 and 2?
So in phase 1 and 2, you still have a wearable technology, but it's not going to have a screen. It's not going to have the display that's similar to most dive watches now. It'll still have buttons. It'll still have lights to communicate the basic communication, but without having a flushed out screen of sending messages such as shark in the water or storm approaching. Those sort of messages are what we're hoping in phase 3.
Because as you think about things like these wearables and Fitbits and that, you can pick up biometric data from the diver too, and instead of me having to press a button that I'm panicking, you'll know I'm panicking, right? If you can have it going both ways. So it seems like you have a real opportunity to help on insurance costs and other things on that. How did you get a chance to talk to companies or operators about the opportunity there?
Yeah, so when we talk to a lot of the diver companies, they understand that they have the ability to generate revenue off of proposing this to their insurance companies, because they pay massive overheads on their insurance already. And so they're open to this product because they know that there's so many ways that we can generate revenue off of this.
I think you may want to think about making that one of your big marketing efforts, right? Is to insurers, and because there's good driver discounts. There's all the little monitors on cars that if you have it and it demonstrates your good practices, you get discounts on the insurance. And so I think that is an area that you could explore more on how you can help deliver that. So then how did you think about the pricing model? Because I was right there with you, and then bang, $10,000 or $12,000. So do you feel like you open up too big of an umbrella for somebody to come in with something similar that might be with less of a markup on it? Or how did you guys think about that as you looked at the alternatives?
So maybe Melody can answer this.
So actually during phase 1, which is year 1, we offer the $12,000 leasing product. So when we came up with the prices, we're kind of trying to incorporate the manufacturing and repair costs within our profit margin. If you go back, yes, the profit margin, and also to account for any possible IP or other legal issues that might come up, because 3 of us here are law students, so we really want to make sure we had a good enough cushion in terms of doing that. So with the leasing model, it's every month $475. I think that's a reasonable amount for a dive tour company to pay. We also went to go and survey dive tour companies, and they said that actually for customers, they'll be willing to pay an additional $10 per tour or per dive for this feature using the Dive Buddy. And I'm assuming if a dive company is doing 6 dives per week, there may be like 6 people as well. And then, yes, and they can make an additional about $87,000 in revenue, so they can recoup their costs doing it this way, but at least for them, they don't have to pay the high sticker price of $10,000. What I think we have for the $10,000 is when we hit phase 2 and 3, when we build that brand equity.
That is not scale, right? That's just a model. So the actual size would be a lot bigger. Like this one here, the one in the water. Oh, that one. Oh, all right. So the question is that, you know, the water is going to be very rough and all that, and you had said in your slide that there would be strong currents that affect the divers. But what about affecting? Is there anything in that device that would keep it in a steady, you know, and not be kind of swept away by the currents?
So we've designed this model, and it's partially the hull and partially the motor design. But this model will be able to go and handle 12-knot winds and currents. So in comparison, a diver won't go out unless if it's more than 1 knot, which is about 1 mile per hour. So in those conditions, we're expecting to be able to handle even the most extreme conditions that may arise. And maybe Brad can talk more about the hull.
Yeah, so divers don't swim very fast when they're swimming, so we just have to keep up with the diver and also the current. And Hawaii doesn't experience very strong currents. So as long as we reach over 5 knots, or about 5 or 6 miles per hour, which our device is outfitted to do, then we should be able to keep up with the currents.
So it's built to follow the divers?
Yes.
I see.
So the wearable tracker sends its location to the drone, and the drone updates its position and follows.
I can't imagine, because you said that after so many years of diving, they're still relying on spotting the bubbles and that's still happening.
Yes.
There's no other comparable
Yes.
technology that would do better than just bubble spotting.
The closest technology that exists is for the oil industry, and those products are $40,000, and it's a massive 10-foot pole that they have to hang off of the ship in order to track their divers. And that technology is both cumbersome and prohibitively expensive.
So, last question, as you think about scaling, and you conquered the Hawaii market, and people are clamoring for it all across the world, what's the model that you would have to do? Would it be that you would have dealers who would have to be trained up on servicing? How do you think about scaling?
So we're going to actually set up a sales division, and when we get to phase 3, that's when we're going to be doing licensing. So we're going to license out our technology, allow that licensed company to produce it and sell it. Maybe Isaac can talk more about this.
So once we reach phase 3, we will begin to split our teams up into sales, research and development, and marketing. At that stage, we will begin to target a different segment, which means our marketing and sales teams will develop a strategy to sell the product that way. We will use not just direct face-to-face, but also online and through stores, through licensing and mass production.
I also have a question that in your business plan, you mentioned about the Southeast Asian, the UH, East-West Center Fellows. How did you find a group that had divers where they could go into their own communities to ask those questions whether there was a need for this technology?
Blessed with being connected with Doris Masser, and she happened to be there traveling to the Southeast Asian region to work with these fellows, and it just so happened that a good portion of them are either engineers or are scuba divers themselves. That region is the largest scuba diving industry, and it's the fastest growing scuba diving industry. So partially serendipity, partially that region lends itself to having more scuba divers.
Okay, we're all out of time.
Thank you so much.
So that's the end of this part of the program. So let's just give one more round of applause for all the great people. send the judges away. They have this very hard job of trying to figure out which of these wonderful teams wins what. So we're going to sequester them over here. We've asked the teams to stick around and stay together because you're going to have a chance to get feedback from the judges pretty soon. And then these walls are going to open automatically. And we have some poo-poos and some beverages for you over there. And we'll start the formal part of the program and the awards and so forth in just about an hour. Thank you very much. Hi, folks. Can you come back in here? Hi, come over here. Don't make me come over there. So thanks again for joining us this evening. Obviously the judges had a really hard time. It took them almost an hour to deliberate. And in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed the sushi bar. It looks really good. So I'd like to welcome my co-host for this event up to the stage, Shidler College of Business Dean Vance Rowley. Did I forget to tell you about it?
Thanks, Peter. What a great event. Thank you. Thank you to Peter and all the PACE staff. Let's give them a big round of applause. We also, of course, need to give thanks to our judges, our mentors, our participants. So another round of applause for everybody who's helped us. We've been doing this for almost 20 years, and the quality keeps on improving, I think, every single year. We're very fortunate to have all the community support that we get for each of these events. So thank you for everything you do. Let me just mention one piece of news for Shidler. We are in the process of merging the Travel Industry Management School back into the business school. We're very excited about that. And for this event, it could imply some things. We could be getting some business plan competition teams from the TIM school, and we're very excited about that. It's the largest industry here in Hawaii, and it's ripe for some innovation and entrepreneurship. So we hope we can contribute to that. We hope that this event can contribute to that. Other than that, it's been a wonderful year. We have lots of things to look forward to. This next year we'll be launching 3 new master's programs at the college, a Master of Marketing, Finance, and Information Systems. So we're looking forward to doing that. We continue to grow. We continue to have just great students, and thank you for all the support we get from the community. With that, I'd like to now thank one of our very important sponsors for this event, our title sponsor, in fact, for this year's competition. That's American Savings Bank, so let's give them and they've come forward in a big way, not only financially, but their employees, and of course the sponsorship through for this competition. This allows us really to provide a quality event for our students. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce American Savings Bank President and CEO, Rich Wacker. So Rich,
Thanks, everybody. It's great to get a chance to say congratulations to everybody all together. You guys did a great job, and we really love working with PACE and Shidler. You know, innovation and entrepreneurship is, in our minds, the most important thing we can do for Hawaii. We sponsor it from our Bank for Education. We have a Keikiko business plan competition for elementary school through high school. We sponsor, this is the premiere. There's a few other lesser events that we sponsor, and I will only say that here, and there I will say there are a few other lesser events that we sponsor other places. Okay, so you Hogan guys, don't say that I said that. Yeah, no, because that's a great event too on the nonprofit side. And then we sponsor all the accelerators, because we think the next step in the accelerators, and then beyond the accelerators, the mentoring programs like Mana Up are great ones. And we need to keep doing this. Just a little fun fact for you. If you go back 10 years and look at the Hawaii 250, the top 250 companies in Hawaii, number 250 had revenue of about $15 million. Today, if you do it, number 250 has revenue of about $3 million, right? So our companies are getting acquired. They're merging into other companies. We need more companies. We need more jobs. We need more innovation. We need more entrepreneurship, and that's why we think this is important. Plus, you guys are just a lot of fun to hang out with. The creativity, the energy is great. So keep it up. We think there's some great ideas here, and I can't wait to hear the results.
Thanks, Rich. We're so appreciative of you and of American Savings Bank and for your continued support, not only for this program, but for what you do in helping us in the whole ecosystem. And I know there's many ecosystem champions here in the room, and they would all agree with you. Thank you. So competitions such as this one really make a difference in our students' experience, in their college experience, and in their lives after that. But they can't do it alone. And you know that because many of you have helped them get this far. So let me take a few minutes to thank some of the supporters. And I apologize in advance if I missed any one of you, because I know so many of you contribute in so many ways. So in addition to ASB, our generous prize sponsors are, actually, if you wouldn't mind standing when I say your name, Greg Kim of Vantage Counsel for In-Kind Legal Service. He's already standing, okay. Pia Arma of Pineapple Tweed for In-Kind Marketing. So there's a whole crew from Sultan Ventures back there. Tar, Kate, Stefan. The UH Office of the Vice President of Research and Innovation for their second place cash prize. And High Beam for their third place cash prize. So speaking of High Beam, for those of you who were here last year, you may remember that we acknowledged High Beam for providing a prize in Billy Richardson's memory. At this time, it's my honor to announce a larger contribution of $25,000 to support the UH BBC Award in honor of pioneer Billy Richardson by High Beam. This award is going to fund the third place prize for many years to come, and we're so grateful for High Beam for putting that together. So many of you in this room knew Billy well. He was a pioneer of the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Hawaii. He founded and he built a series of venture funds that invested in 17 companies, 2 of which went public. He was an adjunct professor at Shidler and the law school named in his father's honor. And he created the High Growth Entrepreneurship Cross-Discipline course, which I'm humbled to be able to teach. And actually, they're making their final presentations next Tuesday, and in previous years, Billy would have come and actually provided feedback. And every year I teach that class, and I'm reminded that at best I'm doing a crappier version of the class than Billy did. So he was also the interim director of the UH Tech Transfer Office. And in the 21 months he was there, he more than tripled their revenue. So on top of that, he was one of the early advisors on the advisory board at PACE. In fact, he was there since inception. And most importantly, he was the co-founder and president of High Beam. So if we could have Bi Ling and Pia come up to present the High Beam, to represent the High Beam board. Thank you. She wrote this, and I'm just saying it. It's just like, it starts there and comes out here. Yeah. I also want to recognize Mike O'Malley, who's not able to join us tonight, but who took leadership in making this gift possible. Thank you so much.
Billy's wife, Leah Hong, is unable to come today, but she expressed her delight and thankfulness for this prize. Billy has been and was just an amazing friend, an amazing mentor to so many students and to so many businesses. We miss him dearly.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Billy. And thanks, Mike. She's doing a great job down there, isn't she? In addition to our prize sponsors, we enlist many people to volunteer. And thank you to those who are listed on page 14 of your program, who gave their time and energy to coach this competition. As coaches for each team and for the rehearsals for the finalists, as judges for all 3 rounds, and as instructors for our Entrepreneurs Bootcamp. And I especially want to call out the coaches who volunteered a lot of hours to our teams over the past 3 months. So here tonight, I know is Glenn Luwag? Yeah? Yeah, there he is. There's Glenn. And Sarah Kadama. Sarah? Yes? Thanks, Sarah. Christopher Liu. And Messenger. Mustafa and Gary Machine. Thank you so much. So in addition to the competition, we're proud to offer various programs throughout the year, and much of it couldn't happen without the support of the business community, and I have many, many people to thank in this area. I'm sorry. Hopefully by the time I'm done, I'll have thanked every single person in the room. Oh, Bob's here. Of course, Bob Mikata. How could I forget you, Bob? I forgot you because your name was written on that page when I turned it. Where was I? Okay. So we have a couple people that are wearing multiple hats like entrepreneurs have to do. We have a professional in residence program, and these folks come in week after week to mentor our students. I tell my students just to go and sign up to sit down with these people who are so qualified in their fields that it's work. Just go ask them what they had for lunch. And just spend some time with them to get to know what it's like to be a marketing professional or a legal professional or a finance professional. So, of course, we have Pia Arma, we have Scott Brewer, Shanna Diane, Paul Harrell, Greg Kim, again, and Chris Liu. Thank you so much. We also have over 60 virtual professionals in residence. And there's a few folks from our board of directors here who I don't want to forget. Terry Fuji is here. And Sharon Reinhardt is here. Thank you. Rich, of course, is here, our chairman. And Susan Imada. So I also want to thank the many donors who support the PACE programs. You know, without that funding support, we couldn't do any of this stuff. And also the tremendous support we have from the UH system, from the president, from the vice president of research, Vasilis Sirmos, and of course from my boss, Dean Rowley. So, one last thing before we announce the winners. I'm sure you're anxiously done with that part. I know, yeah. Each year we select one student for the Entrepreneurship Student of the Year Award, someone who has made exceptional contributions to the entrepreneurial activities at the university and in our community. So, I was trying to figure out a way whether I could introduce this person without it being obvious who it was, and I just can't do it. So, this year we've selected a bright, driven young woman who's majoring in fashion design and merchandising. Yeah, she does look surprised. That's good. That worked. Yeah. She's participated in many of our programs, including the Summer Startup Launchpad and this competition. She took home the top prize in the CTAR Retail Business Contest. She won the Best Undergraduate Presentation in the 31st Annual CTAR Student Research Symposium on Sustainability and Conservation. She's a designer and co-founder running an environmentally friendly fashion and event production company called Worthy. So Worthy's been featured on various media platforms, has been invited to participate in 8 fashion shows and an international trade show since last July. They have a lot going on. So on top of her studies in business, this student is community-minded. She started the Fashion, Art, and Business, or FAB Club at UH. She co-produced the Earth Day Festival held this past Tuesday for the entire Manoa campus. She co-produced Moana Lani Festival. She co-founded Haumana Soul Experience, a student boutique at Ohana Hale Marketplace. It's unbelievable how she has any time to do all this stuff. I'm happy to present the Outstanding Entrepreneurship Student of the Year Award to Savannah Adler. Okay, so you're ready for the prizes. I'm sure you are. I am. I'd like to call to the stage to present the 3rd place prize, Pia, from Heidi. Oh, and Leah. Oh, she's done. Yeah, just. Yeah, Feeling, come on up. So in 3rd place, the award in honor of pioneer Billy Richardson by Hy-Vee for $2,500 goes to Okada Kitchen. And the clerk from Lua from So in addition to the cash, each of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd prize teams will receive legal consultation from Vantage Counsel, marketing consultation from Pineapple Tweed, and a startup support package from Sultan Ventures. And you can see the rest of the prizes on pages 11 and 12. So Sandra, would you join us up here for the 2nd place prize? This is Sandra Fujiyama from the Office of Innovation and Commercialization. Anne, yeah. Anne, can you come up? No? Yeah, you can. That no looked like a yes. So the University of Hawaii Office of the Vice President of Research and Innovation is providing a $5,000 cash prize for second place. And in second place is Dive Buddy. So could we have Rich and Michelle and Vance please join us on stage. I didn't introduce Michelle Bartel before. She's the first Vice President and Director of Communications and Community Advancement for American Savings Bank. So American Savings Bank is providing a $10,000 cash prize to the first place team. I'm not going to tell you who it is. In first place is G-Trainer. We all work so hard for this. The teams all work so hard. The fourth place team won't go empty-handed either. They'll receive a cash prize of $1,000 from PACE. So can I have the three winning teams back up on the stage, along with the coaches, their judges, our judges, their coaches. That's the way I meant to say it. And all of our sponsors for one big group photo. Come on. You ready? And for everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. This concludes the program, and please drive home safe. Thanks for coming.
Yes, sir. Come on.